Hello again, and welcome to the Boredom Club podcast. My name is Seth, and this is Liz.
Hey, today we got a really good one for you guys. It's going to be fun. We're going to ask some questions, kind of deep dive onto some topics, and possibly have you learn a little bit about us. Get to know our personalities a little bit more with these questions. So, we're going to do that in a second, but first, we're going to start with some news topics. I'm going to pass it over to Seth, and he's going to share that with you guys.
Well, hello there. So, I've actually got some really good news for you today. Unlike last time, I kind of deep dived into kind of all this. A lot of them kind of have to tie into the previous one that we talked about in last episode, in episode 1. So, if you haven't listened to that one, scratch it, reverse it, go back and watch the first one so that way it can lead you into this. But in further news on the Baltimore Key Bridge, there was actually, I think it was four or six employees of the Baltimore Key Bridge that weren't and didn't hear the Mayday call from the ship, and they're missing. They still haven't found them. And so I think it's kind of crazy that all of a sudden, we're hearing all this Mayday call and all this stuff like here and this going on, and now all of a sudden 6 workers on the Baltimore Key Bridge are just gone. Or 7. I don't remember. It's a number. It's a number for sure. But further into the news, we were actually talking just kind of about animals and stuff like that, and then this popped up on my kind of news feed, is that in the Boston airport, there was actually a lady from the Dominican Republic of Congo that had mummified monkey remains in her luggage, transporting back into the U.S. And it's strange to me. It's like, what would make you just so interested in mummified monkeys?
I don't know. It's kind of weird. Maybe she was selling them to somebody because she was coming back into the U.S., right?
Yeah, she was going back into the U.S.
So she was coming back. Maybe she'd probably selling them to somebody. I just think it's kind of gross, weird. What a weird way to make your money, dude. All right.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of weird, and maybe she was trying to do the monkey's paw. I don't know what that is, but I heard about it a little bit ago. But in some more fun news, a reversal, Guinness World Records awarded a man in France for the Eiffel Tower made out of matchsticks. And this guy, Richard Plod, had made with 700,000 matchsticks, this Eiffel Tower. And it's huge. I mean, if you look at the photos or the screenshots, you can actually see this Eiffel Tower, and it's massive. And the intricate details that went into this are amazing. It's really cool. It's kind of cool to see someone's passion go so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see that. I like when people go and do interesting things like that. Stuff that other people would have never thought about. Like, who thinks about making the Eiffel Tower out of matchsticks and setting a Guinness World Record for it? I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And on to other things. I'm telling you, I got a lot more this time. In more pop culture news, Elmo decides to take a career path down a different yellow brick road and decides to become a therapist. In one of his episodes, he asked, "How is everybody doing?" And instead of coming back as funny remarks and stuff, people came back with honesty and, in some cases, despair. Elmo replied to many of these messages. I don't have them up here. I wish I could kind of read off some of you, but he responded to him with a lot of encouragement and empathy. And actually, Headspace kind of picked this up and put his picture on there. So, I mean, if you're really, trying to get into some therapy and need just that kind of chipper upstep kind of beat, talk to Elmo. I mean, I would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I got so far as the news. I mean, there's a ton of more stuff that we've kind of delving into. I mean, I'm pretty sure Liz is thinking up something over there. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in her head sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of monkeys, found out today that scientists figured out that gorillas, not chimpanzees.
The band?
No, not the band. They, you know how they pound their chest? Well, they pound their chest to resolve conflict instead of invoking it. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of monkeys, I guess this is the monkey episode. I don't know. But anyway, how about we get into some questions, Seth?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna okay, these are like how do I explain these questions? It's kind of like a not would you rather questions or anything, but just random questions that are cool to know, cool to figure out about your person. They're like, I can't think of the word at all. Um, hypothetical questions. That's what it is. Hypothetical questions that you can just ask your partner or your friend. And we decided to sit down and ask each other some of those today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pick a question, read it to Seth. He's going to answer it. And then he's going to pick a question, read it to me, and I'll answer it. So come on, Seth, come sit down and let's do this.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to read the first question or do you want me to?
Ladies first.
Should we just do them in order or pick them randomly?
Pick them right.
Okay. Let me see. I don't know which ones I want to ask you. If you could meet a famous person, living or dead, who would they be and why?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's definitely a lot of like engineers and scientists that I'm kind of deep diving on, especially like Tesla or Nikola Tesla, I should say. And I would love to meet him, but there's also like some actors, especially like Robin Williams. Could you imagine if like I could have Robin Williams just kind of come sit down and have dinner with me one day? I mean, that would be kind of cool to kind of talk about. So, I mean, I'm gonna have to go with Nikola Tesla because I mean, there were so many things that he invented that I'm kind of deep diving in on, especially this wireless energy thing, which is a big thing out there. But I just kind of want to like pick his brain a little bit because I'm really intrigued. And when I was a kid, I used to not necessarily invent, but I mean, I guess invent things. I considered myself an inventor of sorts. Try to make a new way of unrolling toilet paper. The typical thing is you put it up or you put it on the bottom. What if you put it on the side? Nobody ever thinks of that. So I made a dispenser that was right side up where it would roll out so you could have it left to right. Stuff like that when I was like 6, just creating weird things that, you know, make sense. And so having somebody like that around would be really cool, especially just to get kind of sit down and pick his brain, maybe have a notepad nearby or get to show him how we are today. That would be really cool.
If you could pick a living famous person, who would you talk to?
A living? Man. A living famous person. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Like, how long do I got? Do I got like 30 minutes or do I got a whole day?
Mm, you get to meet them. So you get to meet them, have lunch with them, sit down, talk to them.
Probably Keanu Reeves. I really like Keanu. He's like my favorite actor out there. And yes, I have watched all the John Wick movies, Constantine. Would love another one of those. That's a really good one of his. But, I would love to kind of sit down and have a chat with Keanu Reeves. There's a lot of talk of like how he is out there, and he has his own motorcycle company. If you haven't seen that, go check it out if you're a motorcycle fan. I am. There's a lot of things that are out there, but having lunch or something with him to really get to know him, other than like some, HR kind of talk, that'd be awesome. What about you?
If I had to pick a living person or a dead person that was famous to talk to, okay, living, my first thought was Dolly Parton because I just love her.
Okay.
My only thing is, I'm kind of scared to meet my idols. You know what I mean? Like I'm afraid to be let down. I mean, I'm sure Dolly wouldn't let me down, but it's just like after you meet them, it's like, what do I do now? You know? It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of scary to think about meeting them, but I would love to meet Dolly. She's seems like such a sweet and kind person. She's done a lot of work for to help other people in her life, and she came from a humble background. I think she would be really cool to meet. A dead person that's famous I would like to meet. Let me think. Maybe John F. Kennedy. I don't know why, but well, I really I think he had some pretty good ideas and some ideas that he didn't get to put into life, you know. He was gone too soon, and I think he would be a cool person to sit down and talk to and pass ideas around with. So I think that's who I would meet. Dolly Parton and John F. Kennedy.
John F. Kennedy is a solid pick. I mean, John F. Kennedy, that's a really good pick. And I know you would love to meet Dolly Parton. And I know what the saying is like, what is it? Never meet your heroes or something like that. But I still would like the chance. And Liz knows as much about me as everything, but I would just like to talk to him.
Yeah. All right. Pick a question for me on here.
What we got written down here? Golly, you got so much better handwriting than me. Sorry, I'm just admiring Liz's handwriting. Mine looks like if you gave an ape a crayon and then gave him that brown napkin from the elementary school cafeterias and wrote on it. That's how bad mine is, and hers just looks like some artist drew on here and won a Nobel Peace Prize.
A Nobel?
Nobel Peace Prize. What was it?
Nobel.
Oh, Nobel Peace. Forget it. You know what I mean. We got a lot of questions here. All right, let's do. If you had the opportunity to live anywhere in the world, where and why?
Man, I don't know. See, living and traveling, two different things. And so I don't know. There's so many places that would be so beautiful to live in, you know? And I'm trying to think. Okay, I have a few answers, and I'll explain all of them, kind of. First one, Colorado. I think Colorado is absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of fun stuff to do. I don't think I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you'd be very bored there because there's so much to do there. For context, we live in Oklahoma. There's absolutely nothing here. But yeah, I think Colorado would be a cool place to live. That's more attainable. I also really love England. I think living in the UK would be so pretty with their old architecture and I don't know, just the vibes of that place. It really like I don't know, I really like it there. And then travel wise, for some reason I've always wanted to go to India.
India?
Yeah, India. I don't know why, but ever since I was like a little kid, I've always wanted to travel to India. I think it would be really cool. So, yep.
I don't know. India's a strange place, though. I mean, I would love to go to India, don't get me wrong. But how do I put it? I don't know. It would just like what
Like a culture shock?
Yeah, because it's a completely different world over there. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the viewers may have seen it, but I have seen uh like the India like ice cream making. Dude, they literally take like I don't even know what it is. It looks like an old hot water heater that they just took the paint off and then they just shove it full of like this ice that they get out of the ground somewhere that's like under a foundation. They put it in there and then they just barehandedly smear this syrupy stuff that freezes, and then they scrape it off into little cylinders, and they're like, "Here's your ice cream," and they got their finger stuck in it. You know what I mean? And it's not. I'm not saying that they're not clean or anything like that. People make them out to be very dirty people, but it's clean over there. But it just seems like a culture shock. Like for Liz, I think it would just you would just jaw hit the floor, bruise the next morning. It would be that, different.
I don't think so, because I would be like basking in the culture. I love taking in new cultures and studying cultures and religions and different ways of life. It really interests me. So I think I would at least like to travel there one day. I don't know about living there long term, but because obviously I've never gone, but I think it would be cool. I think I need like an eat, pray, love situation to happen to me one day. Where I'm just like, fuck it. And I quit my job and I take off and I travel countries and meet new people and eat pasta and eat pizza and buy bigger jeans and just have the time of my life. I think it would be so much fun. All right, let me ask you a question.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
What would you do if you were a 5-year-old for a day?
5-year-old for a day? Dude, I wouldn't have anything to worry about for that day. I couldn't talk, for one.
You were 5.
5? Okay, maybe I could talk. I would just cause chaos. Probably if, like, my parents didn't know, I'd freak them out. I'd just, I'd have Liz drop me off at my dad's doorstep and he wouldn't know what to do. And I'd just cause chaos throughout the day.
Okay, like what if you could like go back in time and be 5 for a day? So like you're like no, everybody knows you're 5. It's not like surprise, honey, we shrunk the kids or anything like that. So that's probably a better question to ask.
I took it a very different direction. I thought if I just woke up one morning and I was 5 years old,
I would freak out.
yeah, she would freak out for sure.
I would freak out.
I mean, do I go back in time as a 5-year-old but have the memories I have now?
I don't know. We're getting too deep into it. Just like, what would you do?
But
Like, how did you spend your days when you were 5?
now we're asking me memory questions. Oh, this is nuts. I don't know. I just think it'd be peaceful because if we're talking when I was 5, I'd probably be at my Meemaw and Pa's house down in Rush Springs, where it was just, I remember the sun rising in the morning and Meemaw would wake me up out of bed. I'd literally sleep in my own little area or since we live in kind of a more country style state and they're very country and, people, I had this cot next to Meemaw and Pa's bed that I would sleep in because, of course, I was a kid. I was scared of being by myself and I would sleep there and it'd be butt crack of dawn, it should be 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'd get up, and of course I was not wanting to get up at all, but me, Mom, and Pa were like, let's get up and go conquer the day. And I remember getting up and walking with Mima into the kitchen and she would cook whatever. I mean, it was either scrambled eggs, lots of eggs because they had chickens at that time. And so it'd be peaceful, I feel like, especially now, like how I live life, kind of the stress that me and Liz kind of conquer every day.
Yeah.
It would just be, how do I put it? It would be nice to kind of go back and see the people that I was with at that time. And I remember, like, in my days as 5-year-old, we just go outside and kind of scroll around, in the grass barefoot, get a sticker or something like that, wander around with Mom and Paul, go feed the chickens. And it wasn't until later that I got a BB gun. But I remember just going in the shop there and feeling the dirt between my toes and just having this odd sense of adventure that I didn't have before. I wouldn't say I didn't have before, but I haven't had the opportunity to kind of feel that same way again. And it's strange. There's a study that me and Liz talked about. Oh my gosh, a long time ago, where like as you get older, colors get more dull. So like especially now, I remember like looking at a game I was playing. For the people who do play games out there, you may know Sea of Thieves, or if you don't, you may have heard of Sea of Thieves. And I remember the first time I downloaded it, it was so vibrant and colorful. It was just amazing to look at that kind of thing and just it would just be awestruck. And now it seems like the colors and contrast isn't the same. And just imagine if I was 5 again. You know what I mean? That would be a completely different thing. So,
All right, now your turn to ask me a question. Pick a question, pick a question.
pick a question, pick a question. Pick a question, pick a question. Is there more questions over here? If you didn't have to work for money, what would you do all day?
Great question, Seth. You know, let me think about what I would do all day. All day. So honestly, my dream in life is to be a stay-at-home wife or stay-at-home mom. I've always wanted to do that since I was a little girl. I know I have big dreams and aspirations here, but it's just what I want. I want to be a homemaker. So I would just do that. I would cook, bake stuff, try to become better at baking because I'm not that good right now. I would work on my art more. I would garden. I already do garden in the summertime. And I would honestly, if I didn't have to work for a living, I would travel more because money wouldn't be a problem and I would travel and see sights and just have a blast. It would be so nice to not have to work for money. So that's my answer. Let me find you a question.
All right.
Hmm. What would you buy me if I gave you $5 and asked you to buy me a gift?
$5 buckaroonies. Like, are we talking 1970s $5 or like 2024 $5?
Is there?
Okay. Man, I would probably go. Ooh, I know exactly what I would do. I would go to TJ Maxx and I would find one of those, either the mug sets or this is kind of more recent, like one of the mug sets or like the tapestry type of stuff of like strawberries. And that's what I would get. I would get one of those and kind of go through that. I think that would be awesome. On another topic here, I'm sorry that I have to interrupt this question because that is my answer. I would get you like this mug set, tea set, whatever from TJ Maxx because we love that place. It's really cool, especially for the money that we have. We don't like to spend a lot, in the budget section of TJ Maxx is amazing. And so, but on the other topic, our cats right now, they love my office chair, for one. They scratch it up. It was a cheap chair, so I really don't, it doesn't mind me at all. Like, speaking of, Mona's doing it right now. Yeah, it's fine. It's the only thing they scratch, so it's okay. So, right now, Nova, our bigger cat, our long hair cat, I can't tell you exactly what she is because we just found her, or she got her from somebody. She is passed out along with her sister that is on the chair, and they look stunning. I mean, if you guys want to have a live stream or just a hour long video of just our cats napping on a chair with music playing in the background, hit us up because we can make it happen. I mean it.
They'd probably, I don't know if they would nap that long in one spot.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know about Mona.
Mona sleeps in that window all day long.
Yeah. Maybe in the window. They like the window a lot. So, I hate to break it to you, but TJ Maxx is a little more expensive than $5. So,
I guarantee I can find something there for $5. You found that mug for like $2 or $3.99.
no, it was not that much.
How much was it then?
It was like $10.
$10.
I think so. You go to Five Below.
I was just about to say that. I was going to say I could go to Five Below, and I guarantee I can find you a couple things for $5 there.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. You ask me a question next.
What would you do if I gave you $5? No, I'm just kidding. We just did that one. Oh, we did that one too. I hear the rain outside. Right now it's raining, and it's quite nice, very peaceful. I love the rain. What's the word? It's kind of like I'm an optimist for rain. Kind of like that kind of word. Isn't there something like that? A lover for the rain?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called.
I'll have to look it up while she's answering one of these questions and see if I can find it. Describe yourself in one word.
One word.
One word.
I would maybe. Okay. I would maybe say timid. Is that the word?
Timid.
Yeah, timid. Like I'm pretty calm about everything. I like to be the peacemaker. I don't like to stir the pot much. I like to just let everybody else do what they want and just go with the flow. So, cuz I don't like to have problems go awry. So, I'm pretty chill. I think I would describe myself as timid. I don't know what other word I would put for myself. I don't know. If you could describe me in one word. Whoa. Our computer just started talking to us. But if you could describe me in one word, what would you say?
I don't know. Sorry, I just kind of got distracted. No, Mona is now at the window watching the rain. So, just saying. Man, timid is a solid word for you. Wallflower. And not like a traditional brown and yellow daisy on the wall or something like that. More like an iris on the wall. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's pretty." And then she always just kind of slightly blends in. Everybody sees her, knows that she's there, sees that she's very pretty, and then just kind of because of how she is as far as timid goes, I think Wallflower fits pretty good.
Well, thank you for calling me an iris. I appreciate it. Let me ask you a question. I already did that one. Okay, if we won the lottery tomorrow, how would you spend the money?
What kind of lottery? Are we talking like scratch off or are we talking like what is it called? Powerball.
Powerball.
A Powerball?
Yeah, Powerball.
What's the Powerball at right now? Let me see. I got to get accurate numbers here. You see, I have done a lot of deep thinking on this very topic as like every hour. Speaking of which, I did find out what it is when it's a person who enjoys rain and rainy days and who is fascinated by the sights and sounds. It is called a pluviophile. So if you're a pluvio like myself, comment down below. Let's see, Powerball today. I'm very specific. So, how much is the Powerball today? Okay, it's $2 to play, but well, it has to be like what? Like, oh my goodness. Okay, estimated jackpot is $1.09 billion. I was thinking like 2.5, and it says the cash amount is 527 million. We'll go with the $1 billion. So, or 1.09. So for me, probably what I would do is because a billion is a huge number, something that we don't quite comprehend sometimes. It's 1,000 millions. But probably what I would do is I would take one of those 1,000 millions, going 999 million, and I would probably give that to my dad, and then another million to my mother, and then a million to my brother. So on, kind of to where it's like 900 million, to where they're set, and I could still give them more. And I know you say you give a lot, they may come back and respect and not really respect it, but my family is very different, and I've always had this dream of kind of giving them the financial security that they so deserve. And I would love to give my grandparents one a lot, because they're going through a very tough time right now, and I would love to make sure that they are taken care of no matter what until the very end. I love them very, very, very much. They hold a very special place in my heart. Same with my dad and my mom. Then I would probably take another, like, whatever 10% of that is, and I would give that to the church or churches around, because I'm a big person on tithing. It's not my money. That's just kind of how I think of it, and that's my values as a person. I would tithe some of that money, and then I would probably pay off a lot of my debt that I have, if anywhere, and then I would probably set us up as far as like electric, water, electric, water, and internet bills, to where they're paid out throughout the next year or so for this house that we live in, and look for a new home. And I would find us a new home to where it suits us, because me and Liz have, oh my goodness, Zillow has been. Sorry, I think the mic just cut out there for a second. Okay. Anyway, so what I was saying is where was that? Zillow is our best friend, and hasn't it, Liz?
Yeah.
And so I would find us a nice house, not like, you know, $4.3 million home that's like 5,000 square foot, because that's just too insane for me to think of. I don't want that big of a place. I'm serious. I would probably pick a nice little 2,000 square foot home with a shop. Liz knows I want a shop because I'm a dude. I want one. And maybe get her a she shed.
Yeah, give me she shed.
So, and that's probably what I would do. And then I would take, probably, so we're like probably at like 800 million. I'm going to put it at that now, because I've taken more of that money and put it elsewhere. I would take some more of that money and I would invest it. That's another thing that a lot of people don't think about, is I would invest that money into my own future, and into my kids' future, into my brother's kids' future. I would make it to where they're taken care of down the line without them just spending the money now. And the rest of it, I would either hold on, put in savings, or I would make sure that everything is taken care of, so that way we know that everything is okay. I would definitely get my dog a new harness, something that would make him ride in the truck a lot easier. I get our cats a new cat tower. Of course, I'm gonna splurge a little bit. Maybe get myself a nice car. And listen, I'm telling you, Liz, I am not the person that's going to go out there and get a Bugatti or a Lamborghini or something like that. Because to me, I love them. They're beautiful cars. Don't get me wrong; they're very beautiful cars, but they're not me. I would go out there and I would find me a nice car like a Datsun 260Z Fairlady, which is always near and dear to my heart. Trust me, Liz hears about it every single day of her life.
Yeah.
And she's probably tired of it, but sorry. So you got. And so I would find me something that I enjoy, and along with another car that could be our daily to the city, because that's something that me and Liz would talk about a lot. I mean, how many times do I talk to you about like daily cars going to the city.
Oh, we talk about it fairly often.
I mean, right now she drives a Corolla, and I drive a Tacoma. So we're Toyota fans. Trust me, we're the Yoda fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we love Toyotas.
Corollas. You're a roly poly Corolla, and so I mean, it would be nice to have something like this car that I found before when I worked as a salesman was a Genesis G80 2018 with the 5.0 V8. And I know some of you just heard V8. Yes, it did. It's a very nice car, very fast, very nice. And I'd find that, and like I said, I can go down this rabbit hole of this question, Liz, a good long while if you want me to. And she just shook her head. She goes, "Absolutely not. I'm gonna run us out of time." But no, like I said, I would set us up for the future. I would splurge a little bit. Probably get myself a new Xbox. It'd be really nice. Get us a new outfit or something like that. Get us kind of where we're set for the future. And of course, I'm going to splurge a little bit, and there's going to be taxes and stuff. But I would make sure that our financial securities are taken care of above all else, and including the tithe in my family. Those are what take priority over anything else in my mind for winning the lottery. And like I heard on a podcast, who's that person with the glasses, bald head that kind of looks like a stepdad of mine?
Dave Ramsey?
Dave Ramsey. That's right. So, Dave Ramsey, I hear that all the time from him. I like hear his podcasts go on in my head all the time. But I would make sure to where I'm taken care of, she's taken care of, and I wouldn't tell anybody other than probably her, maybe an hour or two after I've done it. I wouldn't tell anybody about it off the get-go. I would wait it out until I have everything lined out and then pull the trigger. So that's kind of my rough answer for if I won the Powerball, which is, golly, 1.09 billion. One of you happens to win that, please hit us up. Donations are very much appreciated. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my Cash App is just kidding. But anyway, yeah, thank you for that answer. I kind of was afraid to ask you that question because I knew you would go on this long rant. But
I think about it every day, and it's not something that like I'm always hurting for money. It's just like a big what if, and like it makes him, even if I don't win, it still helps me like, okay, this, and this. It keeps my values and my stuff in check.
yeah, he's very he thinks a lot. All right. All right, you get to ask me the last question.
Ooh, last question. What is it? Let's see. Well, that one's scratched out.
No, the one that circled the last question.
The one that's like, that one, a little cloud. Do you feel like as you grow older, you become more or less introverted? I can answer that one.
See, I was hoping that I would get to ask you this question, but so I might ask you it later.
You can ask me right after.
But I feel like this is a tough one for me because I've always been very introverted. I've dealt with social anxiety and generalized anxiety for my whole life, so I'm naturally pretty introverted as a person. But I feel like over the past few years, I'm getting a little bit out of my shell. Especially going into the job world, and having to talk to people all the time when I'm working and stuff. I think I've definitely learned a lot, and I think it's helped me become a little more outgoing and taking me out of my shell just a little bit, not a lot. I would not say I'm an extrovert now by any means. I'm still definitely an introvert, but I think I'm becoming a little less introverted. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so, yeah, especially the conversations we have now, because when we first got together, definitely introverted. I was scared that you would just up and say no when I asked you to go to Brahms for lunch, in the evening and then going to Crystal Beach. I knew that you were introverted a little bit, but as you've gotten older, I've seen you change a lot, especially since you worked at this bar, I've seen you kind of open up a bit, and especially when it comes to how you treat people outside of work and just in other places. Especially like me, and she knows me very well. I will talk to anybody. I know no stranger because that's just how I am. I talk to literally anybody, and I guess I've kind of rubbed that off onto her a little bit. I'm not taking like pride points or anything like that, but I've seen her be more open to conversation with people she doesn't even know, especially when we leave our own town and go somewhere new, especially then.
Yeah. See, that's what I like about leaving town, going somewhere new. I just feel like these people are never going to see me again, so I can talk to them because why does it matter? Like it doesn't feel like, oh, I might run into them at Walmart sometime and they might want to start another conversation and stuff like that. So it's a little easier for me to talk to people outside of our town. I mean, I still get very scared, but but I push it off because I say what the heck and I go with it. Our dog just made a really funny sound. But yeah, so now I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you feel like as you grow older, you become more or less introverted?
Well, I mean, kind of, yeah, because as I get older, I'm trying to go down a self kind of betterment route, and Liz knows especially in the conversations or kind of some of our arguments and stuff that we had in the past. I've got to work on myself, and since a lot of my life I devoted my life to everybody else and how they thought and thunk on everything, sorry, that's a funny word. Um, I've devoted myself to them because I love to make people smile and feel like there is good in tomorrow because I feel like everybody needs that, including the people that are listening now. There is always a good tomorrow. Now, I know you hear that everywhere else, but you never know. You may find a $10 bill on your driveway or on your front door steps tomorrow, and you know, there it is. That's a good thing. Or the sun may come right up and you're like, man, that looks pretty. That's a good thing. That's just how I treated life and tried to tell everybody. But as I got older, or am getting older, I feel more as if I need to tell myself that. Like, this sunrise is very beautiful. I need to pour that into my own life because focusing on everybody else, you'll lose yourself so fast. And that's kind of where I'm at. And Liz knows that very well that I'm very not me sometimes. I just kind of am quiet, I don't talk or I'm just kind of put to myself where I kind of devote myself to certain things like streaming, like that's what I've been doing a lot recently. I've been just trying to get myself into something that's me. I can call me for once. And when somebody looks at my life later down the line or you know someone I trust and love looks at me, they're like, oh, that's Seth. Yeah, he did that. He did this. And that's who he was. And I guess so, yeah, a little bit. But huh? Yeah, I would say I get a little bit more introverted because, of course, I had my moments in where I was like introverted a little bit as I was younger, especially going to certain events. But I will still talk to people. I'm very extroverted, and Liz gets nervous because me personally, I like to talk to people on the phone. If I'm like, oh man, there's a car part at O'Reilly's. Oh, let me see if I can call him, give him this part number. In my head, that's okay, and I go and I just do it. It just seems natural, and I have no qualms or embarrassment about it. I'm not embarrassed. I'm really not. But the moment I even bring up that little thing on an iPhone where it says call this number, Liz freaks out, She just like, "Oh my gosh, don't call them." And it's like I almost feel like, "What? What am I like am I going to curse them out over the phone? Am I going to like just I don't know, I think of that sometimes. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I think so. And especially when I'm in my own home and in my own area, I become a little bit more introverted because I know I'm safe here. So I kind of try to think a lot, like Liz said earlier. find out what I can do.
Well, thank you for that. Well, that concludes our questions. I'm kind of sad that it's over with. I really enjoyed this podcast. It was really fun to do. We might do more podcasts like this where we're just answering questions, or maybe if you guys have questions for us, you can comment down below and we will definitely address your questions in the coming episodes. It would be so fun to do if that's like a dream of mine if people would just like comment and like ask us questions or just like be interested in us, like our personalities and stuff. It would be super, super cool. So if you made it this long, it is 45 minutes, 50 seconds. So I mean, I know y'all listen to longer podcasts than this. There's some podcasts that I've listened to that are over 2 hours long. It's kind of crazy, but maybe one day we'll do a 2-hour podcast. Who knows? But yeah, if you made it this long, comment banjo so we know that you made it this long. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys on the next episode. Bye.